Some of you probably know that we're up kind of on the fifth floor or seventh floor or something. So we're very high off the ground. And when certain grooves start happening, you probably feel like the floor goes up and down in there. Well, however cool it feels to you up there, it feels even cooler up here. The mic stand starts bubbling up the floor. And so as the next night and a half keeps going on, if you guys can get the floor bouncing, it feels very cool up here. It's like riding on a boat or something. So try to get it going. I'm trying to find that magic groove where the floor is going up here. And I also want to apologize for our light man, Chris Corona, for those of you who saw him back there wearing that flyer shirt in the Rangers, the home of the Rangers. So you don't start throwing things out. He lost a bet, and he had to wear the flyer shirt. So I think Chris, if you take it off, light yourself up. Light yourself up, Chris. That's all. You took it off. Okay. So anyway, as we come in here to play here, we're doing the Harpua thing, and I'm going to tell you about this morning when I was waking up. I started thinking about 1974. Some of you probably weren't even alive in 1974, but I was 10 years old. Since I was born in 1964. And I was going to John Witherspoon Middle School. I was in 4th grade. And something happened that year that was very profound and had an effect on me and changed the whole course of my life and changed the course probably of the band, the life of everyone in the band, and I suppose in turn some people out there who come see the band here. What happened in 1974, I was in 4th grade and I really wanted my parents to get me a TV in my room. And so this was the thing that went on for a couple of years where I would ask my parents whether they could buy me a TV and let me have a TV in my room. They like, no, you're gonna watch too much TV. So finally they let me have a TV in my room. They gave me a black and white TV. And the bad thing that happened was I started watching TV like 6 hours a day. But what happened would be on Saturday mornings, I would wake up, I had this ritual, I'd wake up and I would get 4 slices of Pepperidge Farm white bread and a stick of butter and an electric frying pan, and I would melt an entire stick of butter in an electric frying pan and bake French toast, and then sit down in front of the TV and watch 17 hours of TV for the entire day of Saturday afternoons. So this would go on for the entire year there when I was in 4th grade. That's what I would do every Saturday. I would sit around and watch TV. And at 5 o'clock, there was a show they used to come on called Lost in Space. And I remember waiting for Lost in Space to come on. And there was this one particular Saturday where I made my French toast and I sat down in front of the TV and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for Lost in Space to come on. 5 o'clock comes on, Lost in Space comes on. I'm sitting there eating my French toast. And I had this little rubber ball that I used to play with that was sort of like shaped like an udder. Had udders coming all off it. And I'm sitting there watching Lost in Space, and about halfway through the TV show, there was this part where Will Robinson and the robot, where they're walking along one of those cheesy sets in Lost in Space. They go around the corner, and they end up in this sort of clearing. And this clearing, the weird thing about it was I'm sitting there watching TV and I'm thinking this clearing is the identical clearing that is behind the school that I went to, the John Witherspoon school that I mentioned before. And it was a place that I'd been before. So I'm watching TV and I'm thinking, here's Will Robinson and the robot hanging out in this clearing that I go to during recess in 4th grade. Completely strange moment. And I looked down at the foot of the robot. I know this is a long story, but it's very profound and important, so please listen. Change my life. And at the foot of the robot is this udder ball squeezing squeak toy that I also had in my hand. So this is completely, I'm sitting here looking, here's this clearing in the udder ball, and suddenly I realize that the robot is sending messages directly into my brain from the TV. And the messages are telling me, for the next week, I want you to collect little bits of food from the kitchen table whenever you have a meal and put it in your lunchbox and bring it to school. So the next morning, I wake up and I go to breakfast and get fried eggs. I put a fried egg in my lunchbox and I run to school. I still don't know what all this means. And, dinner that night, we had a steak, and I put a steak in the lunchbox. Olives, olive loaf, the whole thing, and little bits of food. And every day I'm bringing this stuff in my lunchbox to school. Well, on Friday of that week, I suddenly had a profound feeling that I needed to be drawn to this spot out behind the middle school. And I started walking with my lunchbox full of food. Now, when I got to this little clearing that I had seen in the Lost in Space episode, I noticed that burned into the ground, there was a pentagram burned into the grass, a star, a 5-pointed star. And I was 10 years old, so I open up my lunchbox, and I take out the fried egg. And I knew what I had to do. I placed it on one corner of the pentagram and star. And then I reached in and I took out the steak, and I placed it on the next corner of the star. I reached into my lunchbox, and I pulled out the olive loaf. I placed it on the next corner of the star. Olive loaf. I then reached into my lunchbox, and I pulled out a carton of milk. I placed the carton of milk on the third star of the I reached into my lunchbox. I pulled out a sloppy Joe. And I placed it on the fourth star of the pentagram. I reached into my lunchbox. I pulled out a Slim Jim. I placed it on the 5th star of the Pentagram. The only thing left was the other ball. I knew what I had to do. I took the other ball, and I knew from watching the episode Lost in Space and from the telepathic messages that the robot and Will Robinson had sent into my brain, that I needed to place the other ball into the center of the pentagram. I placed it into the center of the pentagram. At that point, strange things began to happen. I felt the wind begin to rise up around me. And it started to swirl around, and as the wind swirled around, the leaves began to lift up off the ground. I started to get a little bit scared, and the wind turned and turned and turned, and a big fog began to roll in. A fog began to roll in. And the wind was spinning and spinning faster and faster. I'm out here in the clearing, and all the trees began to disappear. The wind was spinning around, and soon, the next thing I know, it was like a tornado, but a miniature tornado, starting emanating from the udder ball, spinning up, spinning around me, and all the outside trees and all the scenery began to turn black, until I couldn't see anything anymore, except that this tornado was spinning in front of me. And then the bizarre thing is that I realized that I was having a moment where I could see into my own future. And in the tornado, in the cone of the tornado, little bits of my own future began to come out in front of my face. And I saw, Page's face come out, but I didn't know who he was at the time. And Mike, bits of the band, and then they became very terrifying, these strange apparitions coming up to my face. And the next thing I know, a strange white being started to walk towards me. And he started to sing a song, and singing the song, it was the most beautiful music I'd ever heard. It was like music of the spirits. It was heavenly. This man, this strange angelic man, walked towards me and had on white clothes and strange black square glasses. And he walked towards me and he sang me a song. And in singing the song, he told me what my life would become. And it wasn't until years later, many years later, that I recognized who this person was. That it was indeed my friend Tom. And he had come into the past to sing me a song that would describe my future.
When I wake up, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. When I get drunk, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets up next to you. When I hit back, yeah, I know
tornado into the clearing behind my fourth grade classroom. And coming to the life of me, my fried egg, my steak, and my good friend Jimmy, who had walked up while this whole bizarre scene was taking place.
Yes, Dad. I have someone sitting in the phone. What? Pentagram. Jimmy. What's that? I hope that it is. What is that? You're a cat. How'd you know?
Oh,
Do you mean, Olaf? Will they be angry about something that you have done?
You'll see soon enough. We're almost there, just a bit further.
Good grief, it's troll ghosts!
No, Danny, you'll see.
Well, come on, they won't bite you. They're used statues for tomorrow's festival.
Huh? But what are they made out of? Are they made of clay?
No, you'll never guess. Let me show them to you.
Look, Judge, it's Holler and Pitt.
So it is.
Except they're not alive. They're made of solid chocolate, through and through. We'll uncover these statues tomorrow at the start of the festival.
That's right. All the children gather around to eat it. It's a Norway tradition.
This year, we made troll statues to teach the kids not to fear them.
And nobody's afraid of chocolate. And the best part of all is these trolls really smell fantastic.
It's a very clever idea.
It's a lot of chocolate.
Yeah, but if the trolls show up, like they did last year,
No one got any chocolate because they ate it all up.
every drop. We changed sites so it wouldn't happen again.
Yes, but those prints in the snow indicate they found your new location, Olaf.
Oh boy, what are we gonna do? We can't let all that delicious